Good morning, everyone. Another lesson with me, Dr. Helen Marley. We've been talking about practice strategies, my 24 essential practice strategies, and the number 5 on the list is evenness, steadiness in playing. Evenness is the most important, essential aspect of playing technique well, and of course playing pieces well. So how do we get our students to play evenly? It's not all about just picking up a metronome and having them play along with a metronome. For lots of students, they have a hard time practicing with a metronome because they haven't internalized the beat yet in their whole body. So that's why it's really important to start with beginning level essentials like succeeding at the piano, where students are really learning how to internalize the beat by walking to it, marching, clapping, snapping, singing to the beat, swaying to the beat. So then when the students get into more elementary, late elementary level, intermediate level repertoire, then they really have a good sense of what the steady beat is. So I'm going to play a little piece for you, and this one is a Sonatina by Biehl, Albert Biehl, Sonatina in C major. This is the second movement, Allegro Grazioso. And you know what? I think that I'm going to not play it first, but I'm going to tap it on the fall board. So every step of the way, the student can be tapping the rhythm and the notes of the piece on the fall board so that they really listen to the clarity and the evenness. So it would be something like this. I think I'm only going to tap the downbeats of the left hand just to keep it even more simple. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and oh, I started adding some other beats in the left hand. So say to your student, only the downbeats in the left hand. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 1 E and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and a 1. So you notice the moment I started to count out loud, my goodness, my rhythm and my evenness got so much better. So definitely let's have your students count out loud. And it's not one of those monotonous 1 and 2 and 1. No, it has to be full of energy and life, con brio. So then you can have the student go ahead and tap it a little bit slower and add the left hand beats as well. 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2. Those were only the first and second beats that I tapped in my left hand. Now I'm going to tap all of the beats in the left hand. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Yes, it's also a good idea to have your students think about what the best tempo was for them doing that, a good thoughtful tempo, and then have them try to find it themselves on the metronome. Da 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 da. So that was right around 80 to the metronome marking. Okay, so now let's see, counting out loud, then metronome practice, and I will tell you that the second stage of learning a piece is to make sure that the student can play it at the tempo that the composer specified. So in this Allegro Grazioso piece, tempo marking, obviously students are not going to start this piece at this tempo. So go ahead and take a look at the practice strategies for the first stage of learning a piece. And then these practice strategies that I'm getting into now are for the second stage of learning a piece. So I'm going to actually have the student play even slower, and we're only going to do unit practicing. So here is what unit practicing is. I played the pickups, through the first measure, and I stopped on the next downbeat. Let's do it again. Good. Let's go ahead and play that twice more. Good. If your student can play that 8 times in a row, that's really fabulous. Okay, so then the next unit, you could have them start at the second measure and go to the downbeat of the third measure. And again, 8 times in a row is perfect. If you don't think the student can play 8 times in a row, with that kind of focus, then you could say 3 times in a row, 5 times in a row, 7 times in a row, 8 times in a row, but no more than 8 times in a row. Our special number for remembering anything for the human brain is 7 to 9 of anything, right? Our license plates, our phone numbers, social security numbers are all, don't ever exceed 9 digits. So in piano playing, it's so much better to make sure that those the lengths of your units are shorter than 7 to 9. So in this unit practicing, I only had students play 5 beats, and with a pickup at the beginning, that was only another beat. So that was my limit. So once the students can play through various parts of their piece, starting at different places, using unit beat practice, then they're ready to start 2 measures plus 1 downbeat. So we just elongate that measure so that we have 9 beats. So that is the limit for our human brain. So now I'm going to start at measure 21 for the heck of it. That was nice. All right, so the student would go ahead and do that all the way up to 8 times. If they miss one, don't worry it. They can just not count that as one of their repetitions. So that's unit practicing. When the student gets more comfortable with unit practicing, then you can have them bring up the speed on their metronome, and they will feel pretty comfortable with the entire piece. My goodness, the very ending of this piece is going to be the most challenging spot for the student. So we can certainly have our students play nice and slowly. Go ahead and have them do a slight push off with their wrist, leading with their wrist to the forearm or to the fall board of the piano. And then the next one, a beautiful 3-note slur, and then, so now we have a very shortened unit. We could also call that a link on a chain. So here's one link on the chain, here's the next link on the chain, and the next link on the chain, and the next link on the chain. So putting those little links together will form a perfectly even and beautiful phrase. So definitely there are more videos on this subject on my website, and enjoy teaching and enjoy playing the piano.